Have you ever wondered how many decisions you make in silence? Not because you wanted to, but because you thought someone else expected you to. We walk through life believing our choices are our own. Where we live, what we wear, how we speak. But beneath it all, there's a pressure we rarely name. A silent force shaping how we act, how we think, sometimes even how we dream. Today we'll explore that invisible pressure and how it shapes lives without anyone ever saying a word. Imagine a tree growing in a courtyard. Every day, the sun hits one side of it more than the other. Slowly, quietly, the tree leans toward the light. It never notices it's leaning. It simply grows. We too lean towards expectations we cannot see. Let's look at 3 well-known psychological effects that reveal how this quiet pressure shapes us every day. 1. The spotlight effect. The first invisible pressure is something psychologists call the spotlight effect. It's the belief that others are paying far more attention to us than they really are. We think people notice our mistakes, our appearance, our choices, when in reality, most people are too absorbed in their own thoughts to even care. In 2000, a study at Cornell University had students wear an embarrassing t-shirt, Barry Manilow's face, and enter a room full of strangers. The students thought everyone would notice. They imagined people whispering, staring, silently judging. In truth, only about 20% of people remembered the shirt at all. Most were too lost in their own thoughts to notice. We imagine the spotlight, but it's rarely shining as bright as we fear. And more often than not, it isn't shining on us at all.
2. The psychology of conformity. Conformity is the quiet pull to fit in, to belong, to align ourselves with the group, even when we know deep down that something doesn't feel right. It's not always loud. It's not always forced. Sometimes it's just the simple desire to not be the only one raising a hand, the only one standing apart. We conform because being part of the crowd feels safer than standing alone. But in doing so, we often silence our own truth. During the 1950s, psychologist Solomon Asch conducted a famous experiment in conformity. He showed participants simple questions about line lengths, answers that were obviously wrong. The participants could clearly see the truth with their own eyes. Yet, when everyone else in the room gave the wrong answer with such confidence, 75% of people followed along at least once. What the participants didn't know was that everyone else in the room had been instructed to give the wrong answer on purpose. They were faking it, pretending to believe something false just to see how the real participant would react. Some of them knew the answer was wrong, but pretended to agree. Some faked certainty just to avoid the discomfort of standing alone, not because they couldn't see the truth, but because they assumed the group must be right. They chose to fit in rather than stand out. They chose comfort in numbers over the discomfort of honesty. 3. The Pygmalion Effect. Lastly, there's the Pygmalion Effect. It's the quiet weight of expectation. When others believe we are capable, we rise to meet it. We try harder. We lean into that belief, hoping not to disappoint. But when they expect us to fail, we often shrink back. Doubt creeps in. We second-guess our abilities. Sometimes we live up to expectations, simply because someone else told us who we were supposed to be. In 1968, researchers Rosenthal and Jacobson told teachers in a California school, that certain students were expected to show great academic improvement, even though these students were chosen at random. By the end of the year, those students performed better, simply because teachers unknowingly treated them as if they would succeed.
So think, how many times have you changed your answer, your outfit, your dream, not because you wanted to, but because you felt the quiet pressure of others' eyes, even when no one was looking? How many times have you smiled when you wanted to frown, agreed when you wanted to question, stayed silent when something inside you wanted to speak? We often carry this invisible weight without realizing it. It shapes us in meetings, in classrooms, in friendships, even in the privacy of our own homes. It molds our choices quietly, not through force, but through expectation. Hope you liked this video. I hope that by understanding how these invisible pressures shape your decisions, you will become more aware of the quiet influence they have on your daily life, so that moving forward, you can make choices with more intention, not out of habit or unseen expectations. If you find calm in exploring these unnoticed corners of human behavior, subscribe to Thought 101. Here, we don't teach you how to live. We invite you to notice how quietly life is already shaping you